Sharon and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to Violinmas! I'm doing Violinmas instead of Vlogmas. So for the 7 days leading up to Christmas, I'm posting really short, bite-sized lessons, small enough where you can practice and improve a little bit every day. So today's lesson is going to be on posture and releasing tension. Now, I am not here to teach you the basics of how to hold your violin. That's not what this video is for. But I do want to emphasize that playing violin with the proper posture is really, really important because violin is such an awkward instrument on a person's body. You really need to be learning it the right way, otherwise you can seriously injure your body and cause irreparable damage. So now let's get into the video. So one question that a lot of students have is around shoulder rests. So shoulder rests, it's kind of up to your personal preference whether you want to use one or not. I use one because when I started violin, I started with using a shoulder rest, so that's what I'm used to. But there are a lot of people that don't use shoulder rests at all. There's also people that wear a sponge on their shoulder or underneath their shirt. And then there's people that wear sponges that are attached to their violin. I typically try to use these shoulder rests that have a little bit more structure just because that's what I'm used to. So the one I'm using right now is the Mach 1, but for many, many years I was using the Bon Musica, and I just decided that I wanted to do something different, and that's pretty much the only reason. But anyways, if you are not currently using a shoulder rest and you're struggling with keeping your violin up, then I would really look into getting a shoulder rest because that can help you give that extra structure. If you have a really long neck like me, then it can help put some distance here so that your shoulder and the bottom of your jaw is not like scrunched together like this. So the next tip I have is a very basic tip, and it's just to stand up straight. So imagine that you are a puppet and there is a string that's attached to the top of your head. I know I use the string analogy a lot, but hey, it works for a lot of purposes. So just imagine that there is a string attached to the top of your head right here, and it's always pulling you up. So what happens is that people start playing and then they get very engrossed in whatever they're doing, and then they forget about their posture. So you can start like this and have a beautiful posture, but maybe as you're focusing on intonation or some kind of technique, or you're just getting tired, you're playing a piece for a really long time, then you can start wilting like this. And like a plant, wilting does not look nice. This wilting bamboo would look better if it were upright. So don't be like this bamboo. Give it the proper love and care that it needs, which I'm doing a poor job of. So a couple of tips to make sure that you are standing up. One thing you can do is actually increase the height of your stand. So I got my stand right here. If I want to make sure that I'm upright throughout the whole piece, then I can just pull my stand up really, really high. It looks a little stupid how high it is, but it is a good reminder to always be looking upwards and to stand upwards. Next tip is that you want to use the weight of your head to hold your violin down. Kind of like a seesaw, in that if you put a lot of weight on your violin right here, then your scroll is going to go upwards. If you're like this and you're not putting the weight of your head on your violin, then your violin's gonna droop like this. But if you really press down with your head, then your violin scroll is gonna go up. And generally, you wanna make sure that the scroll and your nose are of similar horizontal planes. So you can kind of test that by using your bow here and just making sure that your nose and your scroll make a straight line from one to the other. And the human head actually weighs around 10 pounds, I believe, so it's quite heavy. Make sure that you're using the weight of your head to hold the violin, not your left hand, okay? That is a common mistake that beginners make. Their left hand becomes really, really tense because they're trying to hold the violin up with their left hand, and they're trying to play in tune, and they're trying to, you know, be in the right position and everything. Make sure you're holding the violin up with your head like this. You should be able to hold your violin up without any hands at all. So if you're scared to practice that, then you can actually practice on top of a bed. So you can either stand on a bed or you can like kneel on the bed and just practice like this. And if your violin falls on the bed, nothing bad's gonna happen to it, it's gonna be fine. Now regarding the tension issue, this is a huge thing that a lot of people struggle with, not just beginners, but very advanced players as well. Especially if you're playing a really difficult passage, it can be very easy for your hands and your arms to tense up. It happens to all of us really, but you gotta make sure that you stay as loose as possible. And by loose, that means pretty much every bone, every muscle, every tendon in your body needs to be loose. So that means from your left and your right shoulders, your arms, elbows, both left and right, your wrist especially needs to be loose, your knuckles, and your mid-knuckles? I don't know what that's called, but pretty much everything in your upper body needs to be as loose as possible. I mean, your lower body should be loose as well. So one way to make sure that you are really staying loose throughout your playing is to have a friend or a family member come and stop you randomly while you're playing, and then they can come and feel your arm, or you can feel your arm yourself and see just how tightly you've been gripping onto everything. If you're really tense, they can even try to pry you apart. Like I've done that in lessons before where they're playing something and I stop them and then I go up to them and I try to move their arms apart and they're just like there is no oil in their joints at all. It's just like so hard to pry them apart. If you don't have a friend or family member that's around to help you do this, then you can set random timers yourself. 17 seconds, set it for 38 seconds, just a random number, and then have it go off as you're playing. It can act as a reminder that you need to check yourself before you tense yourself. Alright guys, so that is it for this tip video on improving your posture and releasing tension. So remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel, turn on notifications so that you don't miss a day of Violinmas, and hope you're all staying safe and having a great holiday. Good luck with your practicing. Bye!